and welcome to Accelerating Your AI Journey. I'm your host, Alexa Carlin, and today we're talking about data. Lots and lots of data, and how organizations can prepare and manage it to support their AI implementations. Joining me today are Justin King, Principal Product Marketing Manager for Enterprise AI Factories at NVIDIA, and John Encizo, Field CTO and Director of the Enterprise AI Specialist Team for Lenovo Infrastructure Solutions Group of the Americas. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So first, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspires you to work with emerging technologies.
So, as you mentioned, Field CTO, been doing that role for a while. Just recently became the Director for Enterprise AI. My remit is North America, and the thing that I like that gets me excited about working with new technologies is finding a way for that technology to help businesses do some type of transformation. Right? For the last 15 years, we've been talking about virtual machines, right? And nobody cares at the end of the day. AI is exciting because it puts power in the hands of end users to create change. And that's why I like working with those kinds of new technologies, right? It's the change that it creates.
Definitely.
The change every day is different, right? And so what we're discussing today with data could be very different tomorrow. And being able to be on top of that, one of the things that I like working for NVIDIA as part of this is we realize the challenge here. So we're building technologies and outcomes to help simplify this so that customers can adopt AI and get the best outcomes that they need to drive their business.
Mm-hmm. So we know the sheer amount of data being created has been exploding the past 2 years. How does that make it challenging for organizations looking to harness the power of their data by implementing AI solutions?
So if we think about what's happening with data, I think the global data sphere is going to be somewhere in the zettabyte space, which is way more zeros than we can write in this whole room. And that's important, right? Because all of that data basically sits in a data lake, sits in a cloud. And most companies are not actually leveraging the data they have as an asset. It's like a boat. If you're familiar with the old saying about a boat, what is a boat? It is a hole in the water in which you pour money. Most companies, their data sits there and they get a fraction of the value out of it. And so if we think about how AI and data are so intertwined, AI is the means to process that data very quickly to take it from data, which at the end of the day, frankly, has no value. I know everybody wants to say data is the new oil, but it's really not. Information is gold. AI is how you extract information out of that unstructured, semi-structured, and structured data. So it's a way to leverage technology to put power in the hands of end users. That's why this new data economy is so incredibly important.
It's what you do with that.
It's what you do with it, exactly.
And, to John's point there, the enterprise has been told to keep all their data. One day they will find value. So they have massive amounts of data today, but there's a fact here that you're going to generate 3 times more than the data you're starting off with once you take on and deliver AI in the business. And so as part of that, you're working with vast amounts. AI becomes more accurate with the more data that you have as part of that. So what that means is you're working with structured, unstructured, semi-structured. And this can all be in a range of different data types as part of that. So that could be videos, it could be audio, it could be text, it could be images. And so how do we handle all of those different types? Well, you've got to curate that so you understand what that data is. Then you've got to ingest it, so you've got to retrieve that data to be able to action on it. Then you test and evaluate as you go through this process to be able to then publish updated models and agents as part of that. And so what this means is, to be successful, you have to have a well-tuned, working, operational data orchestration layer. Otherwise, you're going to be setting yourself up for disaster. Your POCs will never get more than a POC, and you will never make it into production successfully as in a qualified time frame that you targeted.
Mm-hmm. So clearly, data, isn't a one-size-fits-all. So given those challenges, how are Lenovo and NVIDIA helping organizations reduce complexity when it comes to preparing large volumes and types of data?
Great question. So one of the ways that we're helping customers do this part of our overall vision. It's the Lenovo Hybrid AI Advantage with NVIDIA, which I'm going to translate that into English, what that means. What that basically means is that no matter where your data lives, in your hand, on your desk, in a data center, the edge, we've worked with NVIDIA to create solutions for specific types of data that needs to be processed. As part of our hybrid AI vision, a hybrid AI advantage with NVIDIA, what we've done is we've done things where we've created something called the AI Innovators Program. And our AI Innovators Program is we go out, we find within the market compelling ISVs that have a business use case that is easy to get to ROI. One of the things that we did is we partnered with Scientific, and they have something called the AI Data Foundry that's based around NVIDIA's NIMs, their blueprints, and our reference architectures. And so the way that we help customers process that data is bringing this solution to a customer because it's built on standard building blocks, our servers, which have best-in-breed performance, reliability, security. Couple that with the NVIDIA AI Enterprise, which is the toolkits that the ISVs can use. And then Scientific built around that this AI Data Foundry. And the purpose of that, the reason that's so critically important, is it allows customers to connect to all these little silos of data, whether we're talking about camera feeds, relational databases, SharePoint sites. Because let's be honest, most customers have no idea where all their data lives. They're using a small fraction. The AI Data Foundry with Scientific allows us to connect to these multiple data sources, pull them together, pre-process them, make that data ready for AI, and then you build on top of that. And that's so critical because the piece that we see customers, like we talked about earlier, so often fail at is bad data, wrong data, not enough data. This allows you to build all of those things together to extract value out of that data very, very quickly. And I think that is the biggest thing that we see is this Scientific Data Foundry, when it's combined with best-in-breed NVIDIA GPUs, NVIDIA AI Enterprise Toolkit, our best-in-breed platforms, our Hybrid 285, which is essentially a fancy way of saying 2 CPUs, 8 GPUs, and 5 DPUs, for those that want to know what the technical details are. You layer that on underneath, customers can ingest any data feed that they want, process it in batch or real time, and then create platforms on top of that to then meet business KPIs, whether that's retail being able to better understand customer journey, or a public sector like a law enforcement group that wants to take body cam footage and have that ingested, have AI then leverage some of the NIMs that do things like object detection and recognition and sentiment analysis, and then extract that data out and populate, let's say, a police report. Right? Those are the kind of things that are built on top of this AI Data Foundry. And so that makes it super easy for customers to go from business problem, business data that I know I have distributed across a bunch of silos, to a business outcome.
Yeah, and when we build these validated designs, there's no one size fits all. Every customer will have a different starting point. And so for us, as we do this, we need to make sure that it can scale. And so we build very large environments and test thousands and thousands of video feeds, image detection, text prescription. And with that, what we're able to do then is give you a lower entry point if needed. So you could effectively start with one server and a couple of GPUs as a POC and start using the AI Data Foundry to be able to build on, and then knowingly that you can future-proof yourself because you can just keep adding nodes and nodes and nodes and be able to maintain the performance and the scale needed to hit these very large environments that certain customers need as part of that. But one of the interesting facts here is that, NVIDIA created the NVIDIA AI Enterprise, which, as John mentioned, is a toolkit of open source libraries, frameworks, models, etc. And so with that, the Scientific solution utilizes some of these technologies. And we always looked at it from a end user perspective, but now ISVs are knocking on the door to partner up and say, we don't want to go through that work either. And so Scientific is using things like NVIDIA Metropolis for the video feeds. It's got Nemo Retriever to get access to the data and pull that data in. as part of that. And then we're using NIM, which is our optimized models, where we've prepackaged and bundled not just the large language model, but all of the inferencing capabilities into a container. So you can now deploy that in minutes compared to doing it yourself in days as part of that. And then the other area here that Scientific did as well was they looked at our blueprints. These are use case outcomes. They took our video search and summarization, added that capability into their product using this blueprint as part of that. And so now they can host that to all of their customers with Lenovo.
But one thing I'd like to comment on is, Scientific as the ISV, they build software. They don't know hardware. And I think that's the important thing is we work together as part of an ecosystem to build the capabilities for these ISVs. So our Lenovo validated design. So if you go to the Lenovo Press website and type the Scientific Agentic AI platform with NVIDIA, you will find that we actually have a validated design. It's a full document that tells you what we did, what we tested, what the architecture looks like, how many streams you can expect. So for a customer that's trying to figure out how to get started, there's the blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Delivered on a platter.
On a platter.
And once they start, it's just going to grow fast, and they've got to be ready for that.
How would an organization get started with data orchestration? Like, what's the first step?
Yeah, so usually what we recommend, the first step for data orchestration is, frankly, to have a sit down with a partner or a Lenovo services person and have a workshop. Right? Let's talk about what kind of data you're looking at, what kind of outcomes you want to deliver, where does that data live? So then we know how we need to architect the underlying platform, not just the hardware, but the actual, what am I going to connect to? Am I connect Scientific as one of my, as a data ingestion engine to a camera feed, to a SharePoint site, to a traditional relational database? Sit down with us, talk with us, and then let us help you figure out how to get started. Because the hardest part really for most customers, frankly, is choosing the use case and then finding the data to actually be able to extract the value out of that use case. And by having this workshop, we walk through all that with you. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, you get a platform that's designed for ingesting data and delivering value at scale. And that is why we create our AI Innovators program in the first place, is to find these ISVs that have these compelling business use cases. So we can attach a services engagement that comes in and helps you figure out how to do it with an ISV that enables you to do it. And that's where the Scientific partnership is so powerful.
And you could see the real ROI.
Absolutely.
I'm actually going to get a little blunter than what John's response was. A lot of people that administer data silos, they don't understand the data they have.
Correct.
I would say probably most.
Probably, but AI, to go and organize that, is not quite here. We're getting nearer to that. And so that's where these workshops become very valuable.
And data is so important because it's learning over time. So the more data you have that's structured and, the more it ingests, the better output. So I have one final question for you. What makes the partnership between Lenovo and NVIDIA so unique?
So I think one of the areas here is Lenovo brings a great experience with high-class infrastructure, being servers and liquid cooling for the GPUs. NVIDIA has the expertise in the accelerators themselves, but we're not just a hardware company, we're also a software company. And so bringing that expertise with how, just like what we did with NIM, on being able to adopt a large language model easily and effectively, we're able to bring that expertise with Lenovo, and Lenovo is able to then package that up and offer it as their solutions with validated designs and the Lenovo hybrid AI advantage.
And from my perspective as the OEM, I think what helps us, I tell people all the time, I make sexy plumbing, right? The reality is I'm an OEM, I make hardware. Customers don't consume hardware. They consume the things that the hardware processes, the data, the outcomes. Why this partnership is so critical is if you think about AI, NVIDIA has created not just a set of really wonderful GPUs, but they've also empowered an ecosystem. And I think that's where our success comes in, is partnering together. It's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 5. Because that ecosystem enables customers, enables partners, enables ISVs to all be able to then say standard building blocks, assemble them, right? So if you think about a chef uses the same ingredients that you do, but a chef creates a different outcome because of how they assemble. That's where this ecosystem partnership is so powerful. The standard building blocks, the NVIDIA Enterprise AI toolkit that lets folks assemble things on top of our best-of-breed hardware, whether we're talking water-cooled, edge AI, or boxes that are sitting in a data center that are using PCI-based adapters. They're standard reference architectures all the way along. So again, consistent outcomes, building blocks that are all standard, an ecosystem that all is contributing to the success of the customer. I think that is the biggest thing is that I see is that this partnership is all designed around the customer's end success.
Sounds like a great partnership. And I love your analogies.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank my guest, Justin King, Principal Product Marketing Manager for Enterprise AI Factories at NVIDIA, and John Encizo, Field CTO and Director of Enterprise AI Specialist Team for Lenovo Infrastructure Solutions Group of the Americas, for stopping by and talking with us today. And thank you for watching. Visit us online to learn more about how Lenovo can help you accelerate your AI journey on the road to smarter AI for all.